References. Hey everybody, welcome to Bigger Damn Cast. Cha-ching, you dig? This is the 90s.
Can you dig it?
Kanye digs it.
Does
he
he
called
though?
me up.
Does he though?
He said, this is the greatest podcast of all time. Oh, a 2009 reference. Maybe one day will be relevant in the present. But until then, I'm Big Damn Chris.
I'm Big Damn Nathaniel.
And you have gaping ear holes embracing our soundwave probes with your soft sides.
I don't think I like where that went.
I also don't think I like where that went.
That was weird.
Let's get past it with something depressing.
So, here's what happened, guys.
Yeah.
After we spoke last week,
Yep.
he says, trying to keep track of, because you've recorded 3 episodes this week.
Yep.
After we spoke last week,
Yep.
it was revealed. We spoke last week that Matt Reeves had walked away from talks to direct The Batman. Only now, I guess, he's directing The Batman.
That's right. It's time for...
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the weekly What the Fuck is Happening with Batfleck update.
I don't know why there's like a radar, like a Morse code machine kind of, like a telegraph.
This just in, Matt Reeves is directing The Batman. Also, DC Comics, DC Warner Brothers pushing forward with Nightwing movie.
Pushing forward, probing forward.
Probing forward.
Yeah.
Pushing forward with their sausage fingers.
Oh, are they actually sausages?
Not yet.
Oh, I'm intrigued. So, last week we said Matt Reeves is allegedly no longer directing The Batman.
Allegedly.
And then the morning that our episode went out, it was confirmed he's definitely directing The Batman.
He's definitely directing The Batman.
So, by that logic, we are recording this on Wednesday the 1st. It's going to be out on Friday the 3rd. By that logic, Matt Reeves has, by this point, evolved into his bigger form, Mecha Reeves. And will be directing The Batman with an iron fist, whilst also dominating half of the Western world with his mighty flames. Very funny. I'm going to miss that.
Yes, you
are. It's going to be really horrible.
We're going to have to talk about it when you get back.
Ooh, you big old bag of mints. But yeah, so Matt Reeves is directing The Batman.
Yes.
Yay, we guess. We'll see.
I guess.
How long this relationship lasts, based on their previous director track record with the other movies.
500 days of Reeves.
Yeah. But also, Warner Brothers are clearly preparing for Ben Affleck to step down, because they're looking to offer up another Bat family member by Nightwing getting his own film.
And they've already got a director lined up.
Oh, God. So Warner Brothers haven't confirmed they're working on Nightwing.
Yes, they have.
They have confirmed they're working on Nightwing.
They're working on Nightwing and Chris McKay's directing.
Okay. Right. Oh, God. I just have to check that they've definitely confirmed, because every time the news comes out, a few days later, they confirm it or deny it after the news has already got out. So Chris McKay, that's one half of the team that were behind the Lego movie.
Warner Brothers are pushing ahead with a live-action Nightwing movie, and McKay is directing, and it will exist as part of the DC extended universe, but there's no current release window.
Ah, right. Okay.
So that joins Suicide Squad 2 and
Gotham City Sirens and The Batman now.
And The Batman and
Aquaman
and
Shazam.
The Flash and Black Adam and Shazam and Cyborg.
Yeah, maybe. Because he was removed from the slate at one point.
Oh,
for God's sake.
Awesome.
And in an alternate reality and a different time, it is awesome. Nightwing getting a movie. Dick Grayson, the best Batman. Arguably getting the most entertaining Batman as a Batman character. The why the hell does Bruce have the cape this long Batman? The smiling Batman.
Oh, I like the smile. The Batman who smiled.
Yes, by Jing. Dick Grayson getting his own film. Robin getting his own movie. Yes, that is a great thing. But not as part of the DCEU. He's a really positive character. And that's who he is.
Well, McKay's been talking about it already.
They've already screwed up the Boy Scout by making him grim and gritty. Are they really going to do it to Nightwing too?
McKay's been talking about it, and he's because Well, because he doesn't come from a place of privilege. He comes from the circus. He doesn't have to be so dour and gritty. And it's like, well, I'm glad you have that vision for Nightwing.
How long before
Chris McKay,
How long before Chris McKay gets kicked off of Nightwing and another director brought in to make it grim and gritty?
Had creative differences.
Oh god, I think it's a failsafe. I think they're worried that Ben Affleck's going to jump ship because he only has one more contracted appearance as Batman in the DCEU at the moment, which would have been Justice League Part 2 or The Batman. There's now no longer Justice League Part 2. The Batman is in some kind of state of terrifying limbo. Like, it's happening, but how? No one knows. I think this is how they're going to get around it. I think do a Nightwing movie. Ben Affleck will appear in it as Batman, so he's not the main focus, and he doesn't have to shoot much. So in terms of work, he only has to do a certain amount of work. And that way, they'll set it in Gotham. They won't put it in Bloodhaven, and it'll be like Batman. It'll be Batman villains and stuff like that. So that'll be their way around losing a Batman movie. There'll be a movie with some Batman, and it'll basically be a Batman movie without Batman in the main role. I think it's a panic play on Warner Brothers in terms of them commissioning it. But at the same time, Chris McKay, promising choice.
Yeah.
I just wish it wasn't part of the DCEU, where he's clearly going to get any hope and niceness stamped out of him early on.
Chris McKay is already talking about how he wants to maintain the exuberance of Dick, and he thinks that one
Sorry,
of the
could
things
you
that
just repeat that phrase?
He wants to maintain the exuberance of Dick, and
that is the greatest thing we've ever had said out loud in this podcast. Maintain the exuberance of Dick,
and how he finds one of the interesting things about Dick Grayson as a character is how he's kind of had all the same things happen to him as Batman, but he's maintained his positivity and he's not given in to the darkness that has consumed Bruce. Consumed Bruce Wayne.
Underpants. So, this could be good news, but I'm not hopeful. How about you?
What has evidence shown us so far?
Yeah.
Scientifically speaking, there is zero evidence
that this will be good.
I hope it will be, because I like him.
I was watching a YouTube guy the other day who was talking about, he released 2 videos. I think I mentioned this before briefly, but like he released one where he said he wants Wonder Woman, he's looking forward to Wonder Woman still, despite the track record, because it's Wonder Woman's first movie.
I hope Wonder Woman's really
and he wants it to be good.
Yeah,
but then he released a video not long after saying, thinking about it, he's changed his mind. He wants Wonder Woman to fail, because that will be the thing that derails this entire project. Like it has to. Justice League will have to just be the one they wheel out because they finished it.
But as long as it makes enough money, it's not going to matter. It doesn't matter if it's bad.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not going to matter if these movies are bad. It's only going to matter if people don't see them.
Well, if Wonder Woman's terrible, that would definitely start the decline, I think.
Yeah.
I think people would go, right, you've had 4 films now, we're not going to bother with this. Because, I mean, at least Transformers 1 is an entertaining film.
People keep watching these fucking Transformers movies. And they're not like... I didn't even make it... I've tried to watch 3 and I've tried to watch 4 and I've not made it all the way through either of them. Because they keep getting longer. And they keep making less sense. And yet... they're more and more successful with each iteration.
Are you talking about Transformers or are you talking about the DCEU?
Well, exactly.
Oh, God. Take us out of the dark, Matt.
May I remind you that Suicide Squad is an Oscar-winning movie?
Oh, God. Which is annoying because in the same category with Star Trek Beyond, and a lot of people afterwards are going, Beyond should have won that.
Yeah, Beyond
if you were giving it to an effects and prosthetics heavy movie, Beyond did a much better job than Suicide Squad did.
Yeah.
That's not to discredit the work done on Suicide Squad. But
I don't know.
I will not be surprised if Warner Brothers...
fucking terrible.
Well, I would not be surprised if Warner Brothers suddenly send out a shit ton of cardboard outer sleeves for the DVDs and Blu-rays in stores now to add over the top of them with Oscar, like the Oscar on the front. I wouldn't put it past them doing that.
Nah.
I would not put it past them. They'll definitely be adding it to all the captions of the digital releases. We know that for sure. Let's move on to more positive things, because for the rest of this episode, we're talking about good shit, motherfucker. We're talking about
the latest round of trailer drops,
which are delicious, and Logan.
Logan,
you sons of bitches. Logan, you still have time. Logan. Someone has come along, which had nothing to do with what you thought it did.
No, and in
the movie,
watching those trailer moments pop up in the movie was really satisfying
because they came up mostly in places where you wouldn't have imagined.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, They're referring to something much less deep and profound than the trailer would have you believe.
Although
Yet the stuff that's in the trailer that's deep and profound is still there. Okay. But we'll get to that. Let's talk let's talk trailers. Let's talk teasers. Let's talk titty teasing.
Let's talk.
He says, tweaking his nipple to illustrate the point.
Let's
and remembering that we're in an audio podcast so no one can see it.
You had to tell everyone that you were, though.
Do you want to smell my fingers?
No!
I rub them with soap.
Kong Skull Island.
Damn, son!
That looks interesting.
I'm liking the look of Kong Skull Island.
It's a very slickly edited trailer.
Again, the YouTube comments underneath the Warner Brothers post of the trailer is just people going, damn, this is a well-made trailer.
Yeah, it's a very well-made trailer.
In fact, it's probably Trailer House. It's probably the Suicide Squad people.
It's got a lot of elements in common with the way it uses music and diegetic sounds to punctuate it.
That's a lovely word, isn't it? Diegetic.
It's
a diegetic. You want to have a little look with your eyes? You can't. You have to listen to the sounds as they come in front of your face.
That was disgusting.
Was a bit. This is the third Kong Skull Island trailer. The first one was the big ominous, like this isn't our world,
which we saw in front of Logan yesterday, despite there being two trailers since then.
Every trailer for a major release I've seen in the last couple of months has been the first iterations of the trailers from last year, not the most recent one, or even the second. It's really odd.
Very strange.
It's really strange how they do that. That YouTube is a more up-to-date place than the theatres now. That's a really weird thought. It's giving you less reason to come to the cinema. Like they say, we're going to attach this trailer to this movie, and then they attach it to YouTube 4 days before, and you're like, oh, never mind. So, oh god. So yeah. The first one was ominous. The second one was still kind of ominous, but showed a sense of humour. Like
there was some
John C.
levity
Reilly
there,
having some weird little moments, and
skull crawlers.
The skull crawlers. You get to see those things. This third trailer is trying to make you laugh. Yeah. This third trailer is no longer about the mystery of Kong and the mystery of Skull Island. This third trailer is, the mystery behind this island, or at least on the surface level, is it's full of a shit ton of monsters. They're fucking huge. And this movie's going to feature several battles.
That giant spider crab thing is so creepy.
It's going to be people versus giant insects and buffalo things. The buffalo looks creepy as sin. And Kong fighting big two-legged lizard things, a giant squid, punching the living crap out of some helicopters in midair. Like, this is the film you're going to get, people. It's like, okay, all right.
Alright,
fam. I'm down with this. I'm really down. And it's only today I realised this King Kong must be out of copyright now. Or at least there's a loophole. Because King Kong is owned by Universal.
Yes.
This isn't King Kong, this is Kong.
Kong.
Like the animated series from the 2000s. Kong.
Yes.
Which was also a Monster of the Week animated series about different giant monsters.
Yes.
And was kind of the spiritual successor to the Godzilla animated series.
Yes.
Based on the American Godzilla movie. The first one.
Yes.
That's a lot of fish.
That is a lot.
That's a lot of fish. That is a line.
It's the Topolis!
Elvis Presley movies. He was the king.
Oh god, it's... No castle. Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. Thinking about that movie makes my skin crawl. My skin is actually crawling off my body and into the living room.
Oh, we're so doing a commentary for that one day.
Oh, it's so bad.
Great soundtrack, mind. Great freaking soundtrack.
Is it though?
Yes.
Is it though?
Yes.
Jamie Rockway.
Jamie Rockway. Jamie Rockway.
Yes.
For a dream. Kong Skull Island looks like a slugfest. Brie Larson's role looks much bigger than the first two trailers were suggesting. It looks like she's getting some of the, the Fay Wray-esque moments with Kong, which is nice. Tom Hiddleston, need to see more of him in action, but he's making a convincing kind of slightly beefy badass. Which I didn't think, because he's kind of a lithe, scrawny dude he's toned guy, but, in this I'm like, I think the doubts people were having were the same they had with Adrian Brody in Predators. They were like, Brody is not a convincing Schwarzenegger, successor.
Yeah.
But then you watch the movie and you go, no, I kind of buy him as this sort of rough mercenary. I get, he's still kind of funny when you think he's Adrian Brody, but at the same time, he's pulling it off. It looks like Hiddleston's pulling it off in the same kind of way.
Yeah, I reckon so.
John Goodman, never a bad thing. Samuel L. Jackson, he's never a bad thing. Doesn't always indicate if the movie's going to be good, but Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
John C. Reilly, the talent is there. The monsters are there. I'm going to go see it. Not on opening day, unfortunately, next week. I'm going to have to come back and see it after I get back from my travels. But yeah, Kong's out March 10th here in the UK.
Yeah, I might try and see
So,
it.
a week, 2 days. Go see it.
So I just looked up the rights.
Yeah.
Basically, Universal don't fully hold the rights.
Okay.
Because going back to 1982, when they tried to sue Nintendo over Donkey Kong,
Oh, shit, son.
the court was like, well, you don't actually own the proper rights to King Kong.
Just because you've made
But it's
two
like-
movies called King Kong.
But it's like, well, Cooper, what's his name? Cooper, who created the character, or was it a woman? Richard Cooper, who owns worldwide book and periodical publishing rights, did sell a bunch of rights here. That doesn't include the rights to King Kong, although RKO has the rights to the original film and the sequel. The 1976 company is held in copyright by the Dino De Laurentiis company.
Okay.
And then the
Basically, Universal own like the distribution or whatever for the original movie or something. Or they own like the merchandise rights. Or
Universal
something like that.
owns only the rights in the King Kong name and character that RKO, Cooper, or Dino De Laurentiis do not own.
Okay.
So it's complicated.
So this Warner Brothers Kong is called Kong, and they ain't even going to risk calling him King Kong. They might say on the island he is king. Like they might say that.
It was originally King Kong Skull Island with Legendary producing and Universal distributing.
Right.
But then
Yes.
Legendary let them move it to Warner Brothers.
Okay.
Universal let Legendary move
to
to Warner Brothers so they could do a Godzilla crossover.
Right. And that's when the movie was temporarily renamed just Skull Island.
It was just renamed Kong Skull Island.
I'm sure at one point it was just called Skull Island because of the idea
That might be like a
they were teasing it as like a prequel to King Kong.
Yeah, when it was originally announced, it was called King Kong Skull Island.
But now they've just gone, forget the other King Kong movies, this is its own thing.
It's Kong Skull Island.
Okay, Kong Skull Island, Dong, Full, Byland, doesn't work. But tell you what does work. Work. Let me see you work.
Alien Covenant?
Alien Covenant. It's doing what Prometheus did. It's visually very stunning. And this new trailer gives us a lot more stuff to feast on with our eyes.
Boy, does it!
Now, I'm still... It's weird because I'm still hesitant to be excited.
I'm really excited for it.
Because of Prometheus. But then again, you've been in an Alien kick recently, reading all the expanded universe stuff.
I've been in an Alien kick for about...
20 years.
Yeah, about 20 years at this point.
It's genetic.
Just
it's in your biology.
Since forever. Since I first saw that xenomorph and was simultaneously scared out of my wits.
And fascinated.
And just wooed. Completely head over heels. With this...
thing.
Oh, it's grotesque, and yet I can't stop looking at it.
Are you happy to see it in all of its glory in the new Alien Covenant trailer?
Oh, am I? And it doesn't look. It looks like a lot of the stuff that's in the trailer, at least, is CGI, which is a break from tradition with the series. It's usually traditionally been a bloke in a suit. Mm-hmm. Most recently, Tom Woodruff Jr.
In AVPR,
because him and Alec Gillis, their special effects company, provided alien
Amalgamated
effects.
Dynamics Incorporated.
Yes. They provided effects for the series since Aliens.
In fact, they've...
I think AMD was built off the back of it there with James Cameron, wasn't it?
ADI's last work in the franchise, I believe, was AVP Requiem.
Yeah.
I don't believe they were brought on board for Predators. I think they did some consultation work for Predators.
But
I think they did some consultation work for Prometheus too, but they weren't like...
But they've always been more associated with the Aliens franchise than the Predator franchise anyway.
Oh yeah, but nowadays their company is unfortunately... they do a lot more visual effects, CGI stuff, rather than practical, because that's where the money is.
Yeah,
as a company, that's where they have to go to keep their 20+ employees fed
and that being
watered
said,
and in homes. You know,
the CGI alien in this he's doing some really interesting things.
That shot
that you
before the
couldn't
title,
do.
where it's you see it,
It's just leaping
aliens,
from wall
alien
to
style
wall to
crawling and
wall.
leaping is
Yeah,
really nice.
and the final sequence of the trailer with it on the windshield of the
ship,
headbutting its way. Oh, and then it's just and it looks so spindly and thin and long.
Yeah.
It looks like a big spider, and I think it's a really interesting way to use the creature that we've not seen it before, and then freed from the limitations of prosthetics and costume, allows you to do new things with it, which is kind of what we don't
want the same as Alien
because we've seen so
want
much
some
Alien.
we want some of the spirit of that movie.
Yeah.
I think you always want that in a sequel. You want at least the spirit of the previous thing to be present.
Yeah,
but you don't want it to outright be the same movie.
but we've also got classic facehuggers.
We do, with their big old very red vagine faces.
We've got
their vagina tummies
what looks like a deacon
with the penis tongues.
from Prometheus running around.
Yeah, the little like proto-alien thing.
I've heard that there's something in this movie called a neomorph. I've no idea what that is.
I've seen a picture of a maquette.
Ah.
It's sort of halfway between human and xenomorph. No, don't worry, don't have nightmares. It's not that thing.
Oh, I didn't mind that so
It
much.
sort of looks like the deacon with the curved head, but there's like a human jaw to one side and sort of
I'm gonna
poking
Google
through.
that in a sec.
I think that's what the guy in both trailers we see his back sort
Yeah.
of twisting. I think that's what he becomes.
I would think so
Because this movie's definitely, I'm going to say it now, this movie still, to me, based on the visuals, looks like a Prometheus sequel.
Oh yeah, it's totally
Which it
Prometheus.
is, but like it's not gone, forget Prometheus, it's gone, no, this is part 2. We're just giving you some of what you wanted last time in terms of the alien connection that you didn't get. I'll be happy if this movie is just a nice mix of creatures. The terraforming things. I think based on the trailer, they've landed on wherever David ended up after Prometheus, wherever David and
Shaw.
Shaw. What's the actor's name?
Numi
Rapace. Who I always get mixed up name-wise with Rooney Mara, just because they both have rather unusual names with "oon" in it somewhere. Shaw, she's been confirmed to be in the movie, but I think she shot for like 2 days. So it's implying that we're going to see what became of her.
There's a shot in the trailer of...
Is it the first trailer?
in the new trailer of... what's her name? Catherine, what's her name?
Fantastic Beast Lady.
Yeah, new Ripley, basically.
Old quirky face.
Yeah. Pulling down what looks like a dog tag or something.
Yeah.
Or a necklace
Yeah.
from the inside the engineer ship.
Yeah.
Could that be Shaw's?
Possibly.
Is that the ship Shaw takes off in?
Shore ship. Shore
You
ship
reckon?
redemption. Possibly. I mean, we're gonna have to wait and see for sure. But I know she's in there somewhere.
Yeah.
David. We saw David in the previous trailer.
In the white room.
In this
Very,
white
very
room.
2001, that.
Yeah.
I thought.
And then we saw what looked like David in a big coat at one point in the previous trailer. In this trailer,
It could also be
the new
the
mech.
other guy.
But in this trailer,
What's his name? I don't know. What's his name?
I
I know they've broken.
Billio.
They've
But in
broken
this-
the naming convention.
Yeah, like the idea is they all have different names and everything.
Yeah,
but
they've
in
broken
this...
they've broken the sequential naming convention.
Oh yeah. Oh, how do you mean? Sorry, like
Ash,
bishops, for example.
Bishop, Call, David.
Oh right. Okay.
It's not an E.
But then again,
Although
that was always a treat for the films.
They did use Eldon in the Fire and Stone comics miniseries.
So if this guy's F, then it's at
So-
least paying attention.
Lip service.
Yes.
Shall we say.
Can you get it? Maybe not when we're talking about facehuggers and stuff. Maybe not lip service.
Service.
But there's a hooded figure in this trailer that looks a little bit similar to what David's wearing in an earlier one. So it's like, oh, is that David? Is he wandering around on this terraformed planet that has human wheat, but also human consumables like wheat? But it also has the
Catherine Waterston is new Ripley.
You're Catherine Waterston.
Daniels, she's called in this.
All right.
In
take
fact, the new android is called Walter.
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 Hello, I'm Walter. But my name's really Egbert.
Egbert.
I'm still not over the moon excited about this. The more I think about it, because I just remember Prometheus. I remember being really excited for that.
I was so excited. Your friend and mine, Charlie DeMello, can tell you how excited I was for Prometheus because we saw it together. Super excited for it.
Oh God!
And like at a late showing the day it came out, and then came out of it with just faces like we'd been shat in.
Shat in.
Shat in.
Not even shat on.
We'd been shat in.
The movie had taken the time to part an opening on you and defecate into it and then sew it back up.
The marketing had sold us a movie that we were expecting so hard. We went in, didn't get it, and was so upset by the fact that we didn't get what we wanted. And that, I think, partly a fault of the marketing for presenting it in a certain way and people talking about it in a certain way who've worked on it. Thing, and like early scripts getting out and things like that, creating expectations, but also partly our fault for buying into it.
Yeah.
And I'm aware that I might be going down the same route with Covenant of buying into it again, but it really looks good.
It's been 5 years since Prometheus.
Yeah.
What the hell?
And also to see Danny McBride in a serious role.
Yes, I'm interested in that. Especially
James Franco in a serious role again.
Again,
he does more serious stuff, but
I'm assuming James Franco is killed off early on
because he's not.
Because
in this
the only thing he's
all.
appeared in is that little sort of prequel almost that they released last week. He's the captain of the ship.
Yeah.
We don't see him in any of the trailers that have come out. And when they list the cast, they don't tend to list him like when the articles list like the three sort of top names. They don't list him, so I think he's there briefly, like very briefly.
What do you think he smells like?
Hopefully not Prometheus.
Oh.
Now, final trailer. We'll have a quick chat about this one because it doesn't really offer much in the way of new things apart from a couple of beats. But it's great at gearing us up. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is not that far away now. And the new trailer is just... It's like the previous trailer. It's just a montage of shots. It's just, look at things. Here are the names of the characters. It doesn't give anything new away.
Quippy lines!
Yeah. And that's... I should be worried, but I trust James Gunn.
And I trust Marvel at this point.
Yeah.
Their track record is so good. And their track record is also so good... and Disney in general, actually, with Star Wars as well, in producing trailers that make you want to see the film but don't actually tell you anything about the plot that you don't want to know.
I think that's the reason why I'm not panicking. Like I should be, in terms of looking at it that way. It's like we're not being given any indication; they're just showing us fun things.
So many misdirects in previous trailers for other films that I'm not that worried that we haven't seen. It doesn't matter what sequence we're seeing things in because we know that they'll change things out. They'll switch shots around. They will lie in the trailers to deliberately obfuscate the actual plot of the film. So
as long as we get more Rocket Raccoon, more Groot, more Gamora, more Drax, more Star-Lord.
More Drax. So much more Drax.
I'll be happy. I just want to spend so much more time with these characters because I enjoyed being with them. And now that they are a family, as they say in this trailer, I want to see what it's like, what they're like now a couple of years on, like having been together. Rocket's got a jetpack. That looks awesome.
Yeah, jetpack Rocket.
Tiny Groot has a little set of overalls.
Yeah.
It's adorable. At one point, Drax is wearing what sort of looks like it's almost like a force field around his body.
Yeah.
So those blue lights, like, so he's breathing in space in this, like, temporary spacesuit, I suppose, made of lights. And he's going, die, spaceship! Shooting a spaceship. Gamora's wielding a giant cannon that looks like she's ripped it off the side of a ship.
Star-Lord has gun envy.
Star-Lord's got gun envy. Mantis still doesn't do much in the trailer. No. She's done for the last couple. I think they're bumping it up to basically be like, here's a bunch of new characters.
She's a psychic though, so her skills aren't necessarily action based.
Agreed, but it's that weird thing that the trailers are almost saying like she's one of the Guardians of the Galaxy. And it's like, I wonder if she is, or if she's just sort of part of this story, but they don't want to shun her because she's a big part of the story. Like the Matus of the Guardians world, if you will. We'll get back to that in a fortnight.
We've seen some. We'll get back to that in a fortnight. Last night.
Time travel!
Oh, God.
Nebula looks like has been captured by someone else since we last saw her and the Guardians are retrieving
her. In one of those shots, she's not got her full bionic hand back yet.
And in one of the shots, she's piloting a ship trying to shoot Gamora.
It looks like the Milano.
It does. Oh my god, I didn't even realise.
Or maybe it's another Ravager ship, because I think that's a model they use.
The Ravagers are out in the middle of nowhere. Looks like they're getting a fight with Rocket and some gadgets, but at the same time, Yondu's definitely with the group. By the end of the story, at least.
Yeah, because I think you see him with a bunch of Ravagers early on in the trailer. But, I mean, like I say, they'll switch things around deliberately in the trailer, so like trying to pass what's going on is not worth it. But it just looks cool.
The biggest new thing we see in the trailer is Ego. We see
Ego.
Kurt Russell at the end of the trailer. I'm your father, Peter.
I'm your dad.
I'm your dad, Peter. And you're like, oh shit! Which is nice because people who watch the first movie may not be familiar with the characters in the world of it. That'll be the moment I think that when they see this trailer, they'll go, oh! Because in the last one, his dad was an alien who left before he was born. Okay, like... So there's the one bit of plot the trailers have given us in terms of this is a reason you want to come and see
I
this.
think James Gunn has also come around and said, yeah, the Ego being his dad thing is not the main focus of the movie at all.
But I think that's
it's
I
not
think
a
that's
mystery or anything.
I've got a mini theory about Ego, but we won't dwell on it for too long because I don't want us to become I haven't seen this film yet, but it's my favourite film.
ATSTs!
It's definitely not a repurposed Ghostbusters action figure with a Star Wars sticker on the front. When in the trailer, there's a few shots of them on what basically looks like an absolute paradise.
I think that's Ego.
I think that's Ego. I think Ego is a terraforming operation or technology or power that Kurt Russell has. He's not the planet in the same way the comic book Ego is a living planet.
Literally a big planet with a face.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that's where it goes. I would not be surprised at all.
Yeah, because
James Gunn gave us Groot and Rocket.
At this point,
I'm not surprised.
Everything we've had in the Marvel movies, planet with a face, people will buy it. People will buy it.
People will buy Wong if he's listening to Beyonce.
Yeah.
And
he's not a manservant.
Yeah, he's a freaking badass who's in charge.
Yeah.
God, Benedict Wong is great. That's out on Blu-ray in like a fortnight.
Oh.
I am buying the 3D and turning all the lights off and hurting my head to watch it. It's going to be amazing. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 coming out very soon. Cannot wait. Now, in the realm of Marvel.
The realm
of Marvel.
But in the Fox Dominion.
Just clearing my throat because we've got to get gruff now. It's about a grim future. What I really hate is all the summaries of this movie said post-apocalyptic future, and then you watch it's like, no, it's just a slightly distant, shitty future.
It's just a shitty Southern States.
Logan. We saw Logan. We're going to talk Logan. Don't worry, spoiler-free. For now, we'll give you a nudge when we're going to do spoilers, and if you want to skip them, there'll be time codes in the description as per.
Tim codes,
if you wanted to skip to the emails at the end of the episode. If not, you can obviously just pause this when we get to spoilers, go see Logan, and then we'll start playing this again.
And it's no spoiler to say that you should go and see Logan.
Yeah, off the bat, go watch it.
It's fucking great.
Is it a 15 or an 18?
It's a 15.
It's 15. It's a hard 15 for the UK.
It is a hard 15, yeah.
And it's definitely a hard R for the States then, because...
Yeah.
Quick history of Logan in movies. X-Men character, usually the main character. If not the main character, the movie repurposes parts of the plot to make him more of a main focus because he sells tickets. He's had 3 solo movies that are his own movies now. X-Men Origins Wolverine, piece of shit.
All mine!
The Wolverine, not brilliant, but not terrible.
Same director as this.
Same director as this.
And did he write it? I'm going to check if he wrote it. Carry on.
Which one? This one?
No, he wrote this one.
The story and one of the screenplay writers for this one.
I'm thinking, did he write
I'll have a gander at the Wolverine. James Mangold, he did not write the Wolverine.
That probably explains it then.
So the Wolverine was written by Mark Bombach and Scott Frank. Logan is written by Scott Frank, Michael Green, and James Mangold. It's also a story by James Mangold, loosely based...
It's that bastard Bombach messing things up!
Loosely based on the comic book Old Man Logan, which we've discussed before.
Very loosely based.
No, we haven't discussed before. We're discussing next week.
We will discuss it next
Time travel!
We've already discussed it, but you won't hear us discuss it until next week.
My God.
My God.
Logan is the story of the year 2029, so not too far in the future.
2029. It's a couple of years further on from what we saw at the end of Days of Future Past.
Yes. Which is hilarious when you think about it, because it's like, really? That was all temples and scorched earth. But I suppose it means the future of when it's all rewritten. Yeah.
Which means that was all for nothing.
Yeah, because Logan, the mutant Caliban, played by Stephen Merchant, played brilliantly by Stephen Merchant.
I really liked him.
A casting where I think we're all like, wonder how this is going to work. Then we saw it and went, oh no, he
that's how it's
fits
gonna
in
work.
perfectly with this.
Yeah.
Stephen Merchant and a sort of mentally regressing Xavier.
He's not in full control of his faculties.
No,
shall we
he's
say.
sort of like Alzheimer's is working its way in there, and
Yeah, they never get into exactly what it is, but they say is it Alzheimer's, is it ALS? It's something.
Yeah, he's not well. Put it that way.
He's not.
Are living out just below the border of Mexico in like an old industrial plant and a silo and all this.
Yeah.
Logan is working as a limo driver in the States, keeping quiet, earning money, saving up cash, buying pills to sort of subdue Xavier's energy so that he's low energy and his mind can't
Suppress his
suppress his powers. Caliban is essentially looking after the two of them. Like he's the one who's sort of keeping them, fed and doing the grocery shopping, I guess, and the housework and looking after them.
Logan looks like shit.
Yes, like covered in scars that aren't healing. Like his healing factor exists, but it's really slow.
Yeah. It's not the instantaneous healing.
Yeah, like if he cuts himself, it's a few hours before it's healed. At one point, he sort of cuts the palm of his hand open with his blade.
Yeah.
Because his blade doesn't come out all the way, so he pulls it to sort of realign it. He cuts his hand open and wraps it up in a bandage, and like for the rest of that day, the bandage is on.
There's a great sequence very early on, so this not really a spoiler, but
it's the opening of the movie.
Yeah, where he's stood over a sink after he's been in a fight, and he's just waiting. You see him straining as his feeling factor slowly pushes the bullets out of his body.
Yeah, lest we forget X2 gets shot in the skull.
Yeah.
Unconscious for 2 minutes as the bullet is pushed out, and then he wakes up.
And this is
he's having
straining.
He's having to like force them out. He's screwed. He's got a business as a limo driver. He's saving up money to buy a boat for him and Xavier to just bugger off into the middle of the sea, I guess, with a load of beer and a fishing rod, and just live out the rest of their days out at sea.
Which
away
implies
from
to not be
everything.
very long for either of them.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, Xavier's in his 90s at this point.
I'm fucking 90.
Nonagenarian, actually.
A woman gets in touch with him. And that's the thing with Xavier in this movie. It's definitely the Xavier that we fell in love with in the first couple of films.
Yeah.
But there's flashes of the youth as well. There's flashes of the arrogance and the cockiness that McAvoy's Xavier has, portraying 20-year-old Xavier.
Yeah.
Which is quite nice. It's sort of like, of course, he's got to the age where formality out the window. He doesn't give a fuck. Like, every day is him straining to live and get by.
He does give a fuck. He gives several strings of fucks.
Yeah, oh yeah,
at various points in the movie.
But I mean, in terms of his decorum and all that, he's no longer like, I am the tutor and the role model. I'm the old man who's dying. Fuck it, I'm just gonna swear.
Yeah,
like I don't care anymore. And I'm gonna insult you, and I'm gonna be very clipped and short and abrasive at times. A woman gets in touch with Logan, basically saying like, "You've got to help. My daughter. You have to help my daughter. These men are after her."
Well, she finds him. She knows that he's the Wolverine.
Yes,
or he was the Wolverine. Because
the X-Men are known throughout the world. Mutants have pretty much disappeared. Like they're not apparently around anymore. The X-Men's adventures are known enough that there are comic books and like fiction about them.
Yeah,
but they're long gone. For reasons we'll get into in the spoilers, we find out hints as to what maybe happened, to why they're no longer around as a team working together. But this woman's like, "You've got to help my daughter. You've got to help my daughter. She's got powers. We need to take her to a safe place in Canada." Was at the same time, Donald Pierce and his Reavers are on behalf of a scientific institute trying to track down this little girl. Donald Pierce gets in touch with Logan and says, "Yeah, do me a favour, mate. If they get in touch with you, tell me. You don't want to get dragged into this. I know you don't. You're trying to keep quiet because we know about you. We know about your friends. We know where you are.
It's a slimy guy as well.
And you can be kept..." I would argue, the best villain in the X-Men movie series.
Yeah.
You can be kept safe. Just let me know if they get in touch with you. But Logan and Charles and Caliban basically sort of go the direction of, no, we need to help this girl. So it's Logan and Charles and young Laura versus Donald Pierce, his Reavers, and other surprises that their company have up their sleeve. So that's your basics for the movie. It's a Western. It's not a superhero film.
Yeah.
It's a Western about redemption and, like, end of days and leaving your mark and making the right decision before you leave the world, like, behind. It's oh my god, it's great. Let's get into the basics. R rating means that the profanity's all over the place, which made me cringe when the first line of the movie was "fuck." I was like, oh, of course. Same way, like, if I had flashbacks to Torchwood. First episode of Torchwood, like 2 minutes in, fucking Torchwood. I was like, oh god.
Yeah.
But this profanity works, especially coming out of the mouth of Xavier, because again, he hasn't been like that since he was McAvoy.
Everyone's so old and tired,
Everyone's
and
knackered.
broken, and
Like, Caliban is a great addition.
yeah.
Possibly the second Caliban is a throwaway line to explain the continuity fuck up.
Again, I think we had this conversation coming out of the cinema. It's like the producers and writers of the X-Men movies don't pay any attention to continuity.
The continuity of the movies isn't taken into consideration when telling this story. This story is its own story, and that's it.
I would argue it's not taken into consideration when telling any of the stories.
Oh, no, but...
And therefore we should just ignore it.
They've told the story of this film without going, how does this fit into the franchise? They've gone, the franchise happened ages ago. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, there's nods to certain moments.
Well, there's two nods specifically to... Well, three nods specifically to X-Men.
Yeah.
And that's it. That film is the only one that you have to have a passing knowledge of to get.
You don't even have to have a passing.
Oh no, but
because it all works as like
but to get some of the little subtleties in this one. Like there's a bit where Logan is looking at a comic book, or he's flicking through one of these comic books, and he looks at some panels of Logan helping Rogue.
Yeah,
and he just sort of smiles, very little smile to himself that looks so fucking sad. And that of course is nice because it's calling back to the first characters we met in that movie properly were Rogue meeting Wolverine and going on the road.
Watch X-Men again
and
tonight.
There's a reference to the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
And there's obviously the reference to Xavier's like when I first took you in, you were an animal. You were no better than a beast. Which is a bit unfair. He wasn't, but he was talking about making a career
as a cage fighter.
Fighter. So, there's that much, but it's very much its own beast. It also has to be because of the R rating and the level of violence in the movie. It is a violent movie. It is gory. I mean, I became a little numb to any facial injuries by the third act. I was like,
because there's been so many by that point.
There'd been so many, but that didn't mean that it wasn't welcome, because it means we have at least one Wolverine movie now where he can be Wolverine.
It was really refreshing to just see him get to cut loose, so to speak.
The closest we've had is some of the fights in the Wolverine are really gritty, but it's the bone claws, so it's not so much gore, it's more just the aggression.
There is an unrated version of that as well.
Yeah, the version I've got is the unrated version. The home video release in the UK was the unrated version. It's not particularly... There's blood in it, but it's not, like, spurting everywhere. There's scars, there's scratches, there's blood on the bone claws, but it's more about the aggression in that movie. X-Men 2 is probably the most brutal we've seen him, but there's no blood. Because it's a fast... The attack on the mansion. Yeah. Like, it's the whole, again, my favourite shot in an X-Men movie so far, although I may have to think more about that, was him plunging his claws into the guy against the fridge in X2, just screaming and then just pulling his arms out. The guy drops to the floor. He's like already dead. And then he moves into the corridor. That sequence is great. This movie shows us what that sequence would be like were the kid gloves taken off and we're allowed to see the gore. This is a gory film. There is limbs getting cut off. There is faces getting punctured. Wolverine gets fucked up in this movie. And the best part is, he's not the most violent character in the film.
No,
There are two other characters that dish out violence on a bigger scale.
Oh, yeah.
Including Laura, X-23. Never named out loud like that, but lots of paperwork showing that she is the 23rd of what she is. She is X-23.
I think they're implying that the project she was part of was called X-23.
Yeah, well, yeah, we'll get into it in spoilers, but
Yeah,
I know what you
yeah.
mean. Like, so that's how they get that in there. It's not really a spoiler, but I suppose it's for comic book nerds and geeks. Yeah, she's got the claw in her feet as well.
I think that's been in at least one of the trailers.
No close-ups, but she's definitely flipping over someone and kicking someone. She only uses them the once, but like...
Oh, she's used them a couple of times.
Oh, okay. Oh, but they're giving like that one close-up, aren't they, in the first thing?
Yeah.
Her first action sequence is tremendous. In fact, that entire sequence is incredible.
Yeah.
It's them, again, it's them getting away from the Reavers. It just goes on and on and on, and it's amazing. What James Mangold was able to show us in the Wolverine in terms of his set pieces was nice. Here, he gets to show us what he would like to have done. And my God, it works.
It's actually very stripped down, in a way.
Yeah. This is a minimalist film.
Yeah,
like, it's a Western, not a superhero movie, so the action is realistic. Like, it's the sort of action you would get in a movie that wasn't about superpowered people.
Yeah.
As long as the people fighting just happen to use blades on their hands instead of guns. That's the only kind of difference, because he's not energetic enough to be doing what he used to. He's not leaping at people. He's not charging into battle.
It definitely goes with what James Mangold was saying ahead of the release of the film, where he wasn't looking for a big CGI mess of city destroying thing. It was a real action with real characters.
Yeah.
And it is more about stakes and personal action than anything else, and it is refreshing for there to be no, sort of huge scale destruction and buildings falling down and all that shite. It's people fighting people because there's very real personal stakes, and there's a weight to the action and a grittiness to it, and a visceral nature to the violence, which is very unusual in a superhero movie, because usually they're aimed at PG-13, and there's a sort of cartooning of the violence in a way. But it was really great to see. It was really great to see it get dirty, so to speak.
Yes. I don't want to say too much more without going into our spoiler territory.
Yeah.
So, make a note, ladies and gentlemen. Spoilers are about to begin, but final word before they do. Go see this film.
Yeah, go see it.
As the last movie in which Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart are going to be playing Wolverine and Charles Xavier, respectively, this is a fine send-off for these characters.
It's the best
and
X-Men
for these
movie.
actors. It's the best X-Men movie. I mean, if we're not counting Deadpool, if we count Deadpool,
I think it's better than Deadpool.
I say, yeah, as a standalone piece, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's as enjoyable as Deadpool, but for different reasons.
Yeah.
And it's Deadpool is what it is, but like it's not making any grand statement. This one kind of is, and it does it tremendously. Logan is the best X-Men movie. It's the best Wolverine movie. It's probably Hugh Jackman's finest performance in a blockbuster.
Yeah, outside of like a small character piece. Yeah, in his big budget Hollywood stuff, it's the best thing he's done. Yeah.
And also, what's it? Boyd Holbrook as Donald Pierce is an excellent villain.
Yeah, he's great.
Rich D. Grant is a nice surprise in it. He's used more than you'd imagine, considering how little he was in the trailers.
Yeah.
Stephen Merchant as Caliban is brilliant. But Daphne Keane as Laura, she's someone to watch out for.
Yeah, she's fabulous in this.
And terrifying.
She's 11.
She's 11. She's 11.
She's 11 years old.
Oh, God. So go see Logan. Spoiler territory.
Yeah, now we're going to talk spoilers, so if you haven't seen Logan, you don't want to be spoiled, either skip to the time code for the emails, or pause it, go watch Logan now.
Yeah.
But do the latter, because Logan's great. Go and see it, and then come back to us.
This is for those who don't care about spoilers or have seen the flick. Quick 10 minutes on Logan and some of the treats in store. X-24 is really scary.
And it's not in any of the promotional material.
No.
They did a really good job of keeping that one secret.
But it also explains why... in a lot of the early production pictures he was putting on his Instagram, Hugh Jackman has a buzz cut.
Yeah.
I think his hair for the rest of the movie is a wig. I think he had the buzz cut for the majority of filming. Because, good God,
Good God, man.
They pulled this off. There was only one shot where I was like, that looks a bit ropey with the two of them in it. It was when X-24 was dragging him onto the spike of the tree. Both their faces were in frame, and both of their faces looked slightly odd.
That wasn't ropey because of the doubleness. That was ropey because they had the CGI.
One if not both of them onto the bodies. Yeah.
No, it's not. It wasn't the faces that was ropey about it. It was the fact that they were impaling him.
Oh, yeah,
that was CGI.
Yeah.
That was what made it look weird.
Yeah.
Because that is the kind of thing where it's like, yeah, you could do it practically, but you wouldn't be able to do it smoothly, and you'd have to cut around it, and it wouldn't work as well. Whereas CGI, you get it all in one shot, but it was a little bit ropey. But that's the only moment effects wise. And like we were saying, when we came out of it, it's relatively effects light for this kind of superhero movie.
Yeah.
So
the only shot in the entire thing, right, where obviously you know when shots are CGI, because obviously it's something that cannot be achieved practically.
Yeah.
But the only shot that stood out as an obvious CGI shot was, I mentioned it last night. There's a helicopter shot of him running through the woods, from a bird's eye view, and he's only in frame for a second, but it's clearly a CGI character running. But it, doesn't take away from anything.
No, that and the shot of him getting impaled, and I was like, oh, that's the CGI is a bit ropey there, but ropey's a relative term. It's pretty.
I mean, put it this way:
still pretty
you're not getting the claws from X-Men Origins.
Oh God, no!
Good Lord, no. X-24 is frightening, mostly because it's Hugh Jackman. Like it's how do you give Wolverine an enemy worthy of Wolverine fighting him? You've got to give him himself.
And he doesn't say anything.
He doesn't say a damn line. He screams and roars. But also it's nice because obviously the thing he's run away from for most of his life after, finding the X-Men is running away from being a beast, from being this monster.
Running through himself.
So naturally what's the last thing he faces? It's him at his worst.
Yeah.
Well, I love the suggestion that X-24 is literally cobbled together, like they grew each piece of him individually. Yeah. Because when you see the tanks earlier on, you don't realise that's what it is.
Yeah.
But there's like a leg and an arm, and they're in separate tanks. You're like, what the hell that is? And then later on, I was like, oh God, that's what they were making.
Yeah.
They were making Build Your Own Wolverine. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
He's great, and he's like, oh God, he's violent. Donald Pierce. And the Reavers are great because they just look like...
Yeah.
They look like you'd imagine, like a bunch of sort of grubby, Mad Max-esque pack of bounty hunters with cybernetic implants would look. They look great. They look really good. And, what's his face? Who plays Donald Pierce? I want to get his name right.
Boyd Holbrook.
He's great!
Yeah,
like, he just really oozes that kind of really sort of casual menace. But at the same time wasn't an unstoppable villain. Like, every time we see him for the first sort of third of the movie, he's smarmy, he's clearly in charge, he knows what he's doing. And then when Laura first approaches, he's like, right, good, we got you, come over here. She gets the claws out, and he's genuinely like, oh fuck.
Yeah, go back, move back.
No, Laura, no. Laura, no. And it's just like, oh God. And then when she starts to advance, he goes, right, abandoned. And he moves back.
Yeah.
Which was nice.
And she then proceeds to murder everyone.
Oh, God, I know. The cybernetic effects were really nice. There's a really nice shot where he reattaches it after he's fixed it. And it sort of, it almost does like a little reset motion.
It unfolds backwards.
All his fingers fold backwards and then come back. It's like, oh, that's a really nice touch. Oh, God, I mean, he was great. And a proper grisly death as well. Really grim, as all the kids from Eden gather over him, and like he gets held down with grass, and his body's being frozen whilst a psychic's pushing him into the ground.
Yeah, the way those kids use their powers was really.
And he's just being zapped gently by the electric kid. It's just like, oh, that's horrible. You can just see his body turning blue and cold underneath the grass. It was like, oh,
there's some really neat inventive uses of powers in this when New Mutants do turn up.
The kids were great, apart from one thing. There was in my mind I've categorised as the shit hook moment.
Yeah.
The shit hook moment, which was they all trim his beard while he's sleeping. And then they giggle until he wakes up. What?
They giggle because there's two of them cutting it,
Yeah.
and then they take it away, and then one of them comes in again, and then about 5 of them come in with scissors.
It was really weird.
I really liked it, because I thought it was just kids being kids.
Obviously, in the terms of the story, it was this weird touch. It was them going, "Oh, let's cut his beard so he looks more like the Wolverine we know from the comics we read."
I don't think it's that. I think they were just fucking with him.
But conveniently cutting it into his traditional facial
Well, yeah,
hair?
but...
I don't know. I think they were trying to make him look like the hero that they read in the comics.
They don't finish cutting his beard though.
No, but they definitely cut it down over where it needs to be for him to have his mutton chops.
Yeah,
because obviously the reason they've done it is so aesthetically we have this visual of him in his final hour as we all remember him looking.
Yeah.
Like the Logan we've grown to love over the years, and the Hugh Jackman portrayal. He's great in this.
He is really good in this.
And his death works really well.
Yeah.
Like, you believe it. Like, because that's the thing as well. It's not a case of like, oh, he might still heal. It's like, no, his body's run out of steam now.
He's gone.
They
bring the thing back from the comics of the adamantium poisoning him.
That's what I liked.
Yeah.
Because it's like, without the adamantium, maybe he would have lived a lot longer.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, like, the adamantium is the thing that has eventually slowed him down, because your body will get poisoned.
Mm-hmm.
Which means that Laura still has at least 140, 150 years in her like he's had.
Although it's kind of, they don't really get into it, but from what you see of it, it looks like she only has the claws.
Well, she'll get fucked up hands and feet then.
Yeah.
Her wrists will look shit.
At least you just pull them out.
Yeah, maybe. Oh god.
That's something that's happened to X-23 and at least once in the comics. Someone's pulled the claws out.
Throwaway reference to Caliban being the second Caliban. Because there's a Caliban in X-Men Apocalypse who's like, Caliban knows, Caliban remembers.
Not necessarily the second Caliban, though.
Maybe like the child of or something, but he's an Egyptian sort of mysterious little, like they play him up to his kind of Morlock-esque sort of mystery man living underground thing in Apocalypse, and then in this one, Pierce says to him like, "I read about you when I was a kid" or whatever.
Yeah,
and he says, "You must be thinking of someone else." Obviously, in terms of this movie in its own context, he's just being like, "No, I don't know what you're talking about. Leave me alone."
Mm-hmm.
But for continuity fuckheads, people who get petty about it like me sometimes, it was almost the film's way of going, no, I'm not the one you're thinking of.
If there's one franchise to not get petty about continuity-wise, it's the X-Men franchise, because they don't give a fuck.
That's what I love about it. Days of Future Past went, right, excuse a couple of niggles, like Bolivar Trask, but we've now corrected it. X1, X2, First Class, and this film are the only ones that exist.
Except you haven't corrected anything.
And then Apocalypse makes 28 contradictions that already screw with it.
You haven't corrected
it. By the same people.
They contradict it before they've even reset it. Yeah, it doesn't
This
work.
Caliban's great, and there's that whole thing. His mutant powers are the same as because Caliban in the comics went through about 80 different freaking transformations, and at one point he became like this massive thing, was one of the horsemen.
But he's always been a tracker.
Yeah, so in this, it's back to the whole thing of like he can sense mutants, like either through sight, sound, and I really like smell, just sort of like feeling, like they sort of hint in this that it's more like smell. It's like he can literally smell a mutant. He helped with what's it called? Because Wolverine keeps calling it Alkali.
The company's called Alkali.
That's what they're called. I think they have a different name in the film, but that's who they are. Transgen.
Yeah.
Which is next. Obviously, Alkali in X2, Alkali Lake is where Weapon X is, and in X-Men Origins, obviously he refers to Weapon X as Alkali, and what survives of Alkali's resources is now owned by Transgen and Xander Rice, Richard E. Grant's character, he basically wiped out mutants. He it suggested that he poisoned the well, as it were, and got rid of them.
Because you keep seeing everywhere this corn company that's sort of taken over everything, and they've got all.
They never highlight it as well.
It's just in the background.
Yeah, and like the drinks, the products, there's like that product called Hypno. There's like several billboards of that, and it's always in frame, but it's never focused on.
And then he's talking to when they meet the family, talking to the family, it's like they don't eat the corn. They put it in the soft drinks.
Yeah.
They use it as sugar. It's high fructose corn, because like most American soft drinks have high fructose.
He's been mass producing vegetation to use in foodstuffs that originally was made by what is suggested to kill off the mutant gene. So since has been putting in mutant genes in an attempt to try and slowly. He's testing the waters, isn't he? He was talking about how
he's not what he's done
Yeah.
is he's wiped out the mutant gene in the general population with
Okay.
GMOs.
That's what all that
and then
is.
in the lab, he
Yeah.
started creating his own mutants.
Because he's like mutant. Like I respect and I'm fascinated by mutation. I think it's amazing, but it shouldn't be replacing us. So I'm going to harness it. It's going to be mine now.
Yeah.
What's really nice about this is that's a big supervillain plot that we've seen a million times. It's no different from those things which like, I'm going to do it and they're going to be my soldiers. He doesn't talk about it like that. He talks about it like an enthusiastic scientist and businessman.
For as long as he gets to talk about it before.
Because before the obvious the third act has that moment where he's obviously going to say this is what it's all about, and Logan's like, no, I'm going to stop you. Doesn't even happen. Logan shoots him and kills him.
While he's still explaining what is happening, he's just like, nah, fuck this.
The movie gives no fucks, and I respect it so much for that.
I really like the way it
because
tells
the big
story.
sci-fi plot is not what this movie's about,
and it's not a post-apocalyptic world, but it's clearly a world that is fucked.
Yeah, like it's on its way down.
Like the ice cap, they mentioned the ice caps being fucked up. Pierce mentions that tigers are extinct.
Yeah, that's a throwaway line. Like, what's the difference between what is it he says?
What's the difference with? I can't remember. Doesn't matter. Don't quote it.
It's something in a tiger. Like one of them's thinking.
He just mentions the tigers are extinct.
It's a throwaway mention. Because I remember that being said, and in my head I went, "Oh no!"
Yeah,
like some kind of really pathetic animal lover who's walked into a fictional documentary.
It's these like the highways with the huge, long automated trucks that driven by robots. Well, like they don't have cabs; it's just the trailers with wheels. The enormous train that is pulling through. That they managed to get
near
in
the
front
border.
of, while they're crossing the border, and
which is the biggest Western moment in the movie.
Exactly,
like it's so Western.
But then you look to see the train, and it just stretches off into the distance. It's an enormous cargo train.
Because it's just supplies driven by automated wheels taking them in one big go.
Like the automation has like fucked everyone up.
It's one of the reasons why Logan as well is sort of thankful that he's got his job, because there's that suggestion through that couriers maybe aren't needed. It's more a case of like the experience of limo driver and the limo, and he pulls up to your house and he's like, hey, you get it, and all that. Like, he's in an industry where like he might lose his job soon, so he's earning as much as he fucking can to get out as soon as possible. He's famous, but he isn't. Like, the world knew who the X-Men were, and people enjoy them, their adventures in comic books, which apparently are exaggerated versions of things that happened, which I'm absolutely delighted by, because one of the covers we see a lot has Sauron on it.
And also,
it's like you're telling me that at some point Savage Land and Giant Pterodactyl Man happened? Okay.
Also, it's a neat integration of the concept from the actual Marvel comics. That
early days,
the Marvel universe. I mean, they still touched it now and again. Dan Slott touched on it a lot in his She-Hulk run. That in the Marvel universe, there is a comics company called Marvel who license and create comics based on the real world. In that world, the real world heroes that actually exist, but they license their likenesses and names and produce comics and merchandise based on them in the Marvel universe. Yeah,
there's even a Wolverine toy at the end at the funeral.
Yeah.
In his old yellow and black and blue costume.
Yeah,
it's like a really nice touch. Is that the first full-on appearance of that outfit in an X-Men movie? Then
I think so.
It's just go see it. And Xavier, that's one last thing we'll touch on.
Wonderful in this.
One last thing we'll touch on is basically, if you know Old Man Logan, we talk about this more next week / last week. How the event that instigates it is supervillains swap their heroes, carnage ensues, lots of people die.
Yeah.
In this version, it results in Logan killing.
Logan is tricked into killing most, if not all, of the X-Men.
In this version, the start of the film suggests that something horrible's happened, that Logan's running from something horrible.
Yeah.
So they kind of hint that whatever has driven them to the lifestyle him and Charles have now is Logan's fault. Until the movie progresses and we get a brief bit on after Xavier has a spasm, has an attack, and paralyzes and nearly sort of kills
he keeps having these
a hotel in Vegas.
Fits that freeze people.
Which is nice because it's a reference to like the thing he did in the films a lot, like freezing time, like freezing people in place. It's sort of like they're locked there and he's having a seizure, and it's sort of hinting that if he dies, everyone he's holding on to is going to die as well.
Yeah.
And like while they're paralyzed, they're not breathing.
And it causes accidents.
Yeah, which is obviously something.
Car crashes and.
Which is obviously something he didn't. A side effect he didn't cause originally, but like he's not in control anymore. His brain's been No, because Caliban mentions how his breathing was stopped when it happens.
Right, okay. Yeah.
Oh god, because that's a great throwaway line to at the beginning. They mentioned that Charles Xavier's brain is now considered a weapon of mass destruction because he's no longer in charge of his faculties enough to control his powers. But you get a hint after the attack at Vegas on the radio that says it's similar to the event that happened like 10 years prior, whatever, at Westchester.
I think it was like a year prior. It wasn't long.
Is it just a year?
It wasn't a decade.
That's upsetting.
Because this is only set.
A
couple of years after
Days of Future Past.
Good Future and Days of Future Past.
So basically, it says like a year ago it happened to Westchester, and he turns the radio off, and we both sort of at that moment in the cinema froze up. So
it's like,
have they just admitted that what happened in this universe is? And then later on he talks about it because he suddenly remembers.
Yeah, it's like Charles
Xavier has a mental attack and kills the X-Men.
Oh well, a few of them, if not all of them. Yeah.
His students, presumably, as well, like a house full of children.
I think they mentioned it killed like 70 people or something.
I would imagine it killed, and the only reason Logan survived is just sort of his durability. He was the one who survived long enough to sort of knock Charles out or something.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So Xavier is carrying the guilt and doesn't even know he's carrying it. Until, oh god, when he's in the bed and he says, "This is the happiest night I've had."
As soon as he started saying that, I was like, he's
going to die.
This is his last scene. Because by that point in the film, I'd seen all his bits that had been in the trailers.
Yeah.
So he's not long.
He says like, "This is the happiest night I've had in a long time."
Yeah.
And it's really sweet because it is, they have that the dinner with that family that they help.
Who then all get massacred.
Oh no. And I mean, that was a nice touch, the fact that the guy was gonna kill Logan.
Yeah.
Because of course he was. He's just lost his family. He's gonna kill him because, as far as he's concerned, in his dying brain, you're why this happened.
Yeah.
Although he knows it's not Logan who did it. He's seen the other thing, but it's like you. But yeah, he says, "The happiest night I've had in a long time," and then he starts to just break down. He says, "And I don't deserve it." And he says, "I remember what happened," and he basically sort of confesses out loud to himself, and it's heartbreaking to watch because we're watching, again, linking back to all the films, we're watching the father figure of all these kids. This man who loved and cared for every student who came through those doors.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that he killed them all. It's like, oh my god. And then as he turns over, the Logan he's talking to isn't Logan, and X-24 stabs him in the chest.
Yeah.
But he remains alive long enough to know that when Logan finds him, that Logan, it wasn't him.
Yeah.
And he just, the last thing he says, he talks about the sailboat.
Sunseeker.
And then so obviously in that last moment he has a delusion or whatever of them having the boat or being on the boat or whatever. Or he's saying to him, go, get it. And he passes away. It's just like, oh god.
And I fucking called that as soon as we saw in that first trailer the scene of X-23 and Logan with a shovel.
Yeah.
Like,
they have buried their friends.
They've just buried Xavier. They've just buried Xavier. I knew exactly, and knowing it was coming didn't make it any less just affecting. It was weird, really brilliantly done, and also that final moment of the movie where Laura pulls the cross they put on Logan's grave out of the ground and lays it on its side to make an X.
Yes,
it's like, oh, that was just wonderful.
And that's the final shot.
Yeah.
It just takes its time to just come closer to it just a little bit as the kids are walking off in the distance, making the mountain trek to cross the border into Canada.
Yeah.
So hopefully safety. We still don't know.
We hear on the radio that they've been granted asylum.
Because it turns out that the like when we see the cliff face Eden in the books, the comic books, that visual is actually the outpost where they're all meeting.
Yeah. Yeah,
and there's this shack, like this, it's like Firewatch, the R-rated fucked up
edition.
Yeah,
it's like an old. It's got the map table and the things. It's like an old Firewatch photo or something.
It's just, oh man, I loved it. I adored it. I recommend it majorly.
Obviously,
if you're listening to this, you've hopefully already seen it. If not,
then
you don't mind spoilers. Yeah, go see it. Yeah. It's tremendous. Finally, this week. Quick fire questions. We're going to get through a bunch. We've got a couple bank ones.
Let's hit the emails.
First one is one we got over Twitter from Billy Tracy. Relevant to Logan. Is it possible to enjoy it without having seen or been able to manage to the end of any of the X-Men films?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd recommend at least watching X-Men
Just
before
watch
you see
Logan.
Logan.
It's great.
I'd recommend watching X-Men just because those little nuances are...
Yeah, but it's
nice.
like they reference things that have happened before. You don't have to know what they are.
Oh no, not that.
It's
Just
clearly something
more,
that's happened in the
just
past.
more the idea of seeing Charles and Logan's relationship begin, and then watching the end,
Yeah, I think you
and
get
getting a sense of how long they've been, friends, how long they've been family. But you don't need to have seen the others to get it. Yeah, do you know what? I'm putting it out there. If you're gonna go watch it, watch X-Men. Watch X-Men 2 for shits and giggles. There you've got your Charles and Logan relationships and origins covered as much as you need to get any extra out of Logan. But you could just see Logan cold.
Just go and watch
It's
Logan.
a great movie. It's a Western about a sci-fi guy on his final adventure.
Just go and watch Logan.
Yeah.
Just go and
Go watch Logan. Another question we got on Twitter earlier in the week, a bit of a sad one. This is from Charlie DeMano.
Hello.
Charlie said, chatting with my mate and Joshy7 the other day as we perused the comic store near the Arts Theatre. Which one's that one? What's it called?
Orbital.
Orbital, yes, with its yellow thin doorway and its long-ass shop. He asked me if there was any untapped potential as far as comics being adapted into other media go. I said loads, but struggled to give him any. So I've passed this question on to you, boys. If you can, please explain how said adaptation would be handled. Sort of giving a brief, any untapped potential as far as comics being adapted into other media go. I mean, Logan as an example, Logan's perfect as it is.
Yeah.
But at the same time, imagine if we were in a world where the X-Men movies did coexist with all the MCU movies. Imagine if we'd seen a film in that vein. Maybe not with the
an
inbred
X-Men
holes.
TV show.
So we could develop more on these worlds.
Yeah. I think that the serial nature of comics lends itself better to television.
Yeah.
But it's only recently that television budgets have started catching up with the need.
I think Flash,
with what they need to do.
Flash
Yeah.
and Supergirl are the closest thing
Yeah.
to almost. They're still catered to TV, but almost literal translation of medium from comic book to television to another medium. I think the MCU is the closest films have come to doing it. The Marvel Cinematic Universe, but I don't think I think there's always untapped potential in some way.
I think what you've got to be really careful of is if you're adapting something like a long running superhero comic, don't adapt specific stories or try to follow the existing arc of continuity.
Use them as your inspiration.
Yeah. Take the core of the character, key events, and use them to build original stories or fit moments and beats from stories you want to adapt into something else, like into a new thing. I think the MCU has done that quite cleverly. I think Man of Steel tried to do it with Birthright, but missed the point spectacularly.
Yeah.
It tried to do it again in BVS with Dark Knight Returns, but again, missed the point spectacularly. If you want to talk about adapting finite, contained stories, even if they are over a long form, things like Why the Last Man, Brian K. Vaughan's been trying to get that made as a TV show for years and years, and it's a comic that only runs 60 issues. It's 10 trades.
Yeah.
So you could do it. You could get through it and have it all make sense and have it all be there in a few seasons of TV. I think HBO with things like Game of Thrones have opened the door for that long form genre storytelling that's slow. It takes its time. It's world building. It allows you to have mystery. You don't have to have all flash and bang. So I think works like Ex Machina, like Why the Last Man, things maybe along the more grittier crime drama sort of side of things, like 100 Bullets, or even the wacky side of things like Chew from Image.
Yeah.
That kind of moving outside of the superhero genre and adapting more sci-fi works, more like crime and horror works. And again, it's not necessarily about nailing an adaptation. You go the Lord of the Rings route, you take the core of what works about it and make it fit into another medium. So,
I mean, I mean, I know it's a superhero example, but like Deadpool's probably the closest film-wise in terms of just getting the essence and the core of what the book and the book's version of the character and why it works. Even then, there's untapped potential because it doesn't utilize some of the things the book does. Like, I mean, for example, you don't have the warring in a monologue kind of thing and this, that, the other, but that's fine because to adapt it to film, they need, like you say, they need to trim it down. So I think there will always be untapped potential, but as long as stuff is missed out to favour the medium it's being adapted to, and to help it translate better, that's fine. There's no problem with that, really.
If you want to talk specific properties, I'll go with something like... again, like I mentioned, Why the Last Man, have that as a sort of good The Walking Dead. Because those who don't know, Why the Last Man is a series by Brian K. Vaughan about the last man on Earth. Basically, some kind of it never gets properly explained in the series. Some kind of plague or attack wipes out everything with a Y chromosome on the planet, apart from one guy and his pet monkey.
Yeah, because of course.
And it's all about him being protected and trying to find a way to repopulate and trying to get to the roots of what happened. There's also Phonogram, which is a great weird series. It's a bit of a weird pull for adaptation, but I think it really worked. By Kieran Gillen and Jamie McKelvey. It's a weird series about magicians who use music to create in their magic. It's black. The first volume at least is black and white, very cool art. It would lend itself to the tone of something like a Being Human, short season, character driven, sort of BBC feeling, modern kind of series with an edgy, not edgy, more like very characterful, down to earth kind of dialogue and cast, and with a weird concept twist, something like that. Those are my picks for untapped potential in the world of comics. But to be honest, there are very few comics out there that couldn't be adapted by the right person. Either as I would lean towards television. Yeah, if
I mean, again, Flash is a great example
because I think
coming the closest.
Particularly, I just think the best writers are working in television at the moment.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
And also, Charlie fills up one more question. Given the very sad news of Bill Paxton's passing...
yes, we didn't even comment on that, did we?
No, sorry. Well, it's been a while, and also I don't want to start on a sad note. We're not going to end on a sad note, because what he's asking is his favourite role. What is our favourite role of his that he has portrayed? Go for it. I mean, it's a toughie, because he's been in such great stuff, and he's always a lot of fun, but go on, which character?
The car salesman in True Lies.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a really good one, actually. I was not expecting
a 10-year-old boy!
I was not expecting that. That's a really good pick.
I can't remember what the guy's name is now, but yeah, he's trying to convince Arnold Schwarzenegger's wife, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, that he's like a secret agent, so he can basically trick her into cheating on her husband with him, and he's exposed as like a coward and a fraud. He's great. He's great in it.
The queue area of the Twister ride in Florida at Universal theme park. Because it looks like he couldn't give a fuck. He doesn't want to record it, and they've made him record. It's a really lame attraction in general.
Oh.
Like, you basically walk through some sets from Twister, and then you witness a special effects kind of thing happen within a set of the effects of what it would like to have a Twister attack. It's really pointless. It's interesting, but it doesn't deserve like a giant queue area and a whole building to itself. It could be used by something else. But there's the video intros from him and his female co-star from that movie. And she's sort of like, you're going to see what the sort of effects that we used on the movie to recreate. And he's like, Twisters in real life are an incredibly terrifying thing to witness. If you were it's just like, he wishes he was anywhere else.
Brilliant.
And because of that, I adore it. because it's like, oh God, Bill, even you know this attraction's pointless.
Oh.
This is amazing. So because of that, it's weirdly become my favourite one of his roles, because it's the most truthful performance he's ever given.
Himself
It was
doing
brilliant.
something he doesn't want to do.
We got time for one more question or batch of questions. Who we got in the emails, you handsome swine?
Okay, well, we'll finish on this one, and we will come back to your emails in a few weeks.
I think we're probably
when
going
Chris
to do.
gets
I think
back.
we're probably going to do questions only episodes,
Yeah,
because you
just so
guys
we
always
can get
ask
through it.
really nice, elaborate questions that require lots of response and detail.
And we've got a few banks that we can't get through because of things.
Yeah.
So we'll don't worry if we've not answered it, and if it's not the next one, we'll get to you. Don't panic.
And if you ever want an immediate response during the week as well, you could just tweet us a question.
Yeah.
If you ever want us to just answer something on the spot. But in terms of email questions, we will get around to them. For time travel reasons, it might be in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah. So Sean Lindsay asks, "Hello, big damn guys.
Hello, Joe.
Considering Michael Bay is probably one of the worst people to hand a franchise to, if you had to, what franchise would you give him? I would give him the Triple X franchise, since that can't get any worse."
Is it, I suppose it is a franchise,
Three
isn't
movies.
it? 3 movies.
3 movies.
Or 2 movies and a spin-off. I think they're trying to argue that the second one was a spin-off.
State of the Union.
That's what it was called. Triple X
Triple
State
X,
of the
Triple
Union.
X 2 State of the Union, yeah.
Oh, Christ.
I have not seen any of the Triple X movies, so I can't comment on that.
If we give him a franchise, it's a franchise he's got to kill off but make money with. I guess.
No, just what franchise would you give him?
I suppose if it were to make the best of his abilities and actually deliver something that I think he could do an alright job with, because it doesn't take much more anyway, I'd want to give him some kind of like destructive franchise.
Fast and the Furious.
Well, no, because a lot of people like that because it's about family. It's about family. Family. You betrayed your family. That was my Michelle Rodriguez impression. The Smurfs. Smurfs. I don't know, I'm trying to think of something that is just mindless violence. And explosions and everything.
The Transporter.
He's going down the track of Saturday morning cartoons with Transformers and producing the Turtles movie. So what Saturday morning cartoon that is just destruction could we give him? There's just absolute destruction and nothing more.
Cadillacs and Dinosaurs.
Rainbow Bright.
Dino Riders. Zoids.
Rainbow Bright and the Dino Riders.
GoBots.
Oh, God.
Challenge of the GoBots.
Oh, God. No.
Can we have a Hugo Weaving voiced Psykill, please?
Street Sharks.
Oh!
And then Vin Diesel can reprise his role from that awkward promo video he did when he was starting out.
Biker Mice from Mars, perhaps?
Don't let him anywhere near those. He's tainted enough good things. I say good things.
On a serious note.
Ah!
As if. I don't know what franchise. What would be the weirdest
Street
fit?
Sharks, because they've weapons and explosions and cybernetics and giant shark-headed people.
What would be the most incongruous fit?
Pride and Prejudice.
That's not a franchise, though.
Could be. He could make it into a franchise.
Pride and Prejudice franchise.
He'd make it into a franchise.
Oh, God.
Pride and Prejudice has already been absorbed by a different franchise.
Do you think Michael
in terms
Bay...
of the genre of mashup books?
Do you think Michael Bay could get his hands around a superhero franchise of any kind?
Don't let him touch them.
Spawn?
I mean, Spawn is...
Bloodshot?
Spawn is, from my experience, from what I've read and seen, mostly shit anyway. So...
I'm going to start reading Spawn.
So maybe him... Yeah, because at least visually, we'll be having a good time. And you can't make hell metal coloured, so...
Power Rangers.
Fuck off. That's being ruined elsewhere.
Hey!
Possibly, we don't know. I'm still weirdly excited for it.
I'm not optimistic for it at
Oh,
all.
I'm not expecting a great movie. I'm just expecting to see some things that make me go, yeah, that was fun. And then leave the theatre with a slight smile on my face.
Alvin and the Chipmunks.
And with that mental image, ladies and gentlemen, If you want to get in touch with us, bigdamcontact@gmail.com is the place to email. Keep in mind it's going to be a couple of weeks before we respond to the emails, but do enjoy some upcoming episodes. We do have stuff coming out, even though we're not going to be around. Ooh, mince.
Well, Chris isn't going to be around. He's going to the stars.
I wish.
Yeah.
The stars won't give me deli belly. So, yeah. But we've got episodes coming out, so your emails will get to them in a couple of weeks' time. Stick around, though, because you can always tweet at us at BigDamnCast.
Yes.
And for those of you who want to delve a bit more into the world of X-Men, come back next week. We're going to be talking a bit more about that. Recommended reading and movie discussion. And also a certain show that may or may not be cancelled. We don't have the official word on it as of now. We're finally tackling it in full in a fortnight's time. So for those of you who've been demanding that, you know what it is. You know who you are. Brace yourself for an whole episode about that, plus a special bonus treat.
Maybe we should give that to Michael Bay.
Oh, really? Do you think so? Miss Kill.
Miss...
And all she does is smash classrooms to pieces.
Captain Kill.
This is your brain on the box. This is my brain on the box.
Does anybody else feel like a fried egg?
We'll see you later, everybody. Bye.
The Clue Master.